right, welcome to the Geek Branch podcast. We're doing our Christmas special. And to kick things off, we're going to let you hear how we felt about Star Wars Episode 9. And I can tell you, I don't think any of us liked it. For the first time ever, I actually agreed with critics about a Star Wars movie. The movie was very rushed. The first 15 minutes felt like I was on an acid trip. No, I've never been on an acid trip, but it sure made me feel like that's what I would feel like if I was to be on one. And then the movie just felt so disjointed. Any scene with Princess Leia was like, we understand she passed away, unfortunately, amazing actress, amazing character. But any scene that she was in felt very disjointed because she wasn't really there. They were just using random clips from when they filmed the first episode, and it was very obvious. There's a whole bunch of stuff wrong with it. So we are going to dive into this and talk about what went wrong and why we did not like Star Wars Episode 9.
Warning, there will be spoilers.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when they click on that,
It's better to say it just in case.
Yeah, there will definitely be spoilers. We are not going to be one of the people that does spoiler free because we can't. It's just too upsetting not to talk about it.
In detail.
There
will also be hatred.
Yes.
Spoilers and hatred.
All right. Who should we let Dane just let it all out? Because he was the one that was most upset. Like,
and he's been holding it in for a while.
He's been holding it in for a minute.
Yeah, like for y'all don't know that we went to eat and everything afterwards, try to calm him down. It was a whole thing. I sat next to him and so did Cussler, and I thought he was about to convulse at one moment. So I guess we'll let him take the floor and talk about everything that he felt like was wrong with the movie, and we'll probably agree with him for the most part.
Go for it, my friend.
All right. Taking off the brakes in 3, 2, 1. Man, I fucking hate this movie. Look, I gotta be 100% honest
Unleashed.
with anyone out there who's listening right now. I am so infuriated by this movie that I could have an aneurysm and die right now. And when they send me to hell, I'll drag JJ with me. I am he
hates it more
irritated.
than the Rian Johnson movie, I think.
Look, all right. So let's go to the very beginning here.
Our dogs are very upset about the movie too.
They feel my anger rolling off of me. We start with the famous Star Wars opening crawl, right? And in the very first paragraph, the galaxy hears the voice of the long dead Emperor Palpatine.
They said the dead is alive.
Right. The dead live. What? I don't care. Here's my point.
It was really cheesy.
In the first paragraph, no one has spoken. The score just started. We're underneath a minute of the movie,
and he's already annoyed.
We know Palpatine's back.
Yeah, he's already annoyed.
So no trying to hide that. Palpatine is here. Right? There was no lead up in The Last Jedi for this, so it's impossible for it to be in the title. But okay.
Well, there's been a time jump.
Yeah, sure. Well, there's been a time jump. We go down. Rey, the last hope of the Jedi. I don't know why they didn't want to say Last Jedi, but I just think that was JJ kicking, Abrams, JJ kicking Johnson, which happens all throughout this entire movie.
Yeah, like JJ tries to say that he didn't have a problem with The Last Jedi. The dude threw like The Last Jedi under the bus as many times as possible.
Physically possible. Like if there was an opportunity for him to take a pot shot, he took it. All right.
I can't fault him.
And then last but not least, we have Leia, who is, of course, long gone and past, but she's sending out secret agents in the form of our main cast, which is Poe, Finn, not actually Rose Tico. They decided that she doesn't deserve to be in this movie, really.
Yeah, she's barely in the movie and not a love interest to Finn at all now.
And these people...
She tries to be.
Yeah, it was kind of...
Just bring the arm closer to you. It's one of those ones that you can move easier.
Yeah, it's not the floor mic.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so we sit there and we're just like...
relax.
Deep throat that thing.
I sit there and I read that opening crawl and I'm just like, well, I want to leave, but I can't. So I have to sit through what is obviously a quick little run where we have...
The first 15 minutes.
Yeah, look, let me explain how this works.
There's no breaks, like, at all. Like, you're on one of those roller coasters that's, like, nonstop. Like, it hurts your neck.
It was like, it would be 2 to 3 minutes of whatever scene they had laid out. and then it's cut, and you're already going to something else like quickly.
Have you ever been on like the Ninja on at the Six Flags?
No.
It's one of those roller coasters that's known to make your whole body hurt when you're done because it's going fast and it has a bunch of bumpy churns and stuff. That's the first 15 minutes. It feels like an acid trip.
So to me, right, as we go down and we talk about this, let me tell you what the problem is here. And it's obviously a problem of pacing. Everyone knows it. You'll pick it up immediately. But this is what occurs. We need to fit in episode 8, J.J. Abrams episode 8, in the first 15 minutes of this movie.
That's essentially what he did.
So there's only one way of doing it, okay? And this is how it works. It is called exposition, transfer the scene, ignore that time exists, exposition, transfer the scene, ignore that time exists. Time does not exist in this movie. There is no way of telling how long anything takes to get done. We have planet to planet travel. We have galaxy spanning fetch quests for MacGuffins, and we cannot tell how long any individual person takes to do anything in this movie. Time is not a factor.
Apparently light speed skipping is a thing now, or whatever they called it.
And so we sit here and we have to deal with this amongst all this other absolute nonsense. But the thing that kills me the most is that rather than have us understand anything that's actually going on, it reads like a plot synopsis. Like it comes out like bullet points. And it's the most infuriating thing because
it's like they're spoon feeding a child.
No, it's like you're on YouTube.
Yeah.
And you're trying to get to a scene of something that you remember, you know, like, oh man, I've watched this video before. I want to get to this one funny bit. And you're hitting the 10-second forward button in between where the actual story should be. All of these could be long, drawn out scenes that actually give exposition, character arcs, setup, and development. And don't even get me started on setup, because setup and payoff, the difference between setup and payoff in this movie is only a minute. It will be set up and then it will be used. There is no time delay. Some of these things should have been in episode 8 to be paid off in this movie. And instead, I get them paid off within 10 minutes.
If that.
Yeah.
That's unacceptable.
Or you get stuff you don't even get paid off on, like the Knights of Ren.
Oh, that was hot garbage.
Well, let's look. We're gonna get there. We're just rolling through this absolute trash fire before we actually start the movie, because this is what this is. So, like, I don't even know where to proceed.
So let's start with
let's they complete this run.
Dane's gonna fucking blow a gasket.
Let's start with the
He
beginning
really
of the
is,
movie.
though.
Can't even get it
The
out.
first couple things that happen in order, in sequence, is first off, we get Kylo Ren going to the Sith homeworld world. I cannot remember what it's called.
After he finds his
Wayfinder.
No,
Wayfinder.
We start with Planet No Name, with Kylo Ren murdering a bunch of aliens that we have no idea who they
Bunch
are.
of cool looking aliens.
Supposedly, that planet that they start the whole movie off on is Mustafar.
Oh, really?
Supposedly, from what I was doing my research on.
I-
But there's no
You can't
indication.
tell.
You can't tell it's
They're not even
Mustafar.
natives.
It's like for like 20 seconds.
Who?
Yeah.
What? I've never seen the alien species before.
So they essentially
We
just
also
like
haven't seen that much of Mustafar.
Kylo murks like a whole like group of like 15 soldiers and just takes this Sith holocron navigation artifact thing that takes him to the hidden Sith planet.
we don't get any lead up to attacking this planet.
Nope.
We don't know who's defending it, why they're defending it, what they're defending for. And when they get done murdering these aliens, you know what appears? The freaking box with the MacGuffin in it. There's no search for it. No need to dig through a ruins. No need to ponder what's occurring here. No, the box appears. It is literally him walking to the box, pushing off the lid, and there's the MacGuffin. In scene.
He could
Proceed
sense
to the
it.
next one.
He could sense it from the Force.
Star Wars Dark Souls.
Now, he goes to the planet, and first off, it's apparently a pain in the ass to get to because there's a bunch of shit in the way of it, and then lands on the planet. Lightsaber out, walks into this temple, finds the random panel that takes him down to this secret laboratory that the Emperor has.
That you find out that apparently Snoke was just some clone that the Emperor designed. And he tells this to Supreme Leader Kylo, like while he's going down the elevator thing. And he's like telling him like basically this whole plot line for like 5 minutes. He's like, so I was the one that was behind it all. I was the one that created Snoke. He was a good teacher, but He's not me, essentially. And I'm going to have you have this infinite army of what is it?
Star Destroyers.
Star destroyers with
And-
cannons that can destroy planets.
Palpatine's been known before to have like multiple apprentices because at any one given point he had
Dooku, Maul.
yeah,
And
Dooku,
he has
Maul.
contingency plans and
like-
all that.
Yeah, so like it doesn't surprise me necessarily that he's the one pulling the strings behind Snoke.
It's just the way
but-
they handled it.
Yeah, it's just like on one hand, I hate that they made him the big bad for this movie. I know they wanted to connect everything as far as the original series, the prequel series, everything like that.
Yeah, because
but
he's always been the main villain.
they could have done something else with it entirely. And I almost feel like to a degree they neutered him with this movie.
Oh, without a doubt, they ruined his legacy.
But
The scene was awkward too.
Yeah,
it was
Yeah.
like MTV Cribs Star Wars edition.
Showing off his house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
He's like, look at all these Star Destroyers I got.
Yeah, he just like summoned Star Destroyers out of the dirt.
Yeah. And he's
Like-
just like, look at all these followers I have.
Like he built Star Destroyers, put planet-killing weapons on them, and then it was like planted them.
How'd he find all these freaking people to get all of these parts and
None of it
not
made
for
sense,
no
dude.
one to ever know
with
that
no
he was
lead up, it makes no
Yeah.
sense.
Well,
how would no one know that he's been working on this whole time or his followers weren't?
they're in the unknown regions.
Yeah,
As in,
but
no
who-
one knows where. No one knows what's there. No one knows what alien species are there. We never get to see what the aliens look like. It doesn't actually matter. Let me go back and talk about the first thing that actually irritated me about going to Palpatine's new dope crib. Put your lightsaber up. Stop walking around like you're just flashing it. Just put
Ray,
it up. Do
Ray
not
does it
turn
too,
your
and that's what
light- yeah,
upsets me.
Do not turn your lightsaber on if you're not using it. We've sat here and watched people fire up lightsabers time and time again, and you want to just start every scene with "Check out my big red stick." I am so fucking.
Yeah, he really likes his weird custom made lightsaber.
Just
Ray
put it
is
up.
just as bad, dude.
Well, you find out later in the movie you can clearly make a regular lightsaber. You don't have to make it some weird like ghetto rigged lightsaber that has like injector fuel in it or something.
I totally get that, but like I'm always been a big fan of like Kylo Ren's lightsaber, not just because it is of the design of like the hilt and everything. I like it because it was one. I don't think he actually bled a kyber crystal for himself. I think his is entirely man-made, and it shows just how unstable he is on like a story point because like it's
That's
not
the
like-
reason why they went
so-
that route.
No, it was a good in the first of these three movies is a really good telling point of his mentality.
Yeah.
It was a really good telling point. And I was okay with that. Now he just has to wave it everywhere.
Yeah, it was very annoying. It kind of annoyed me too, and I was like, why does he have his saber out
I mean,
while
you
he's
could- you
in
could-
the what is essentially an elevator?
You could argue that he's
big
going
saber
in,
energy.
you could go into the you can go into the argument that he's walking into possibly
That's-
enemy territory.
that's
so he's
why
just
Ren
having it
liked
ready,
him.
But
You don't turn on your lightsaber for no fucking reason. I
I don't
Just-
disagree.
no Sith does it. No Jedi does it. No Padawan does it.
Well,
Turn
Ray
your-
used it as a light.
Yeah, Ray.
Oh, don't even get me. We're not there yet.
They joked about that too. 'cause
My
Poe
God,
pulled out a
Poe pulls out a flashlight like it's a freaking lightsaber. Your lightsaber is not
Hold on.
a
Hold on,
tiki
though.
torch.
Hold on though. We've seen that before. Obi-Wan and Anakin have done that.
My friend.
And you
There-
would think that Obi-Wan would know better because even Qui-Gon was like, bruh.
Don't turn it. Look. Okay, let me explain to you what happens here. Right, you're in the dark. Something might be dangerous here. Right, you don't know what it is.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, this is. Oh, you haven't been here for the animated background, but yeah,
Yeah, there's stuff that happens.
just pay attention to it. It'll blow your mind. But listen, so we're sitting here, and I'm like, all right, you're in the dark. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're about to fight. It's beyond your comprehension. You're not sure. So what am I gonna do here in this unknown region? Because we see this happen multiple times throughout this freaking movie. I'm gonna turn on this loud, crackling, bright red flashlight like I'm a beacon. You want to die? This is how you die. It doesn't matter that you're a Sith. It doesn't matter that you're a Jedi. It's retarded.
Monsters do not
You know
care
what-
what you are.
You know what else killed me about this is a random thought. The thing that killed me is a lot of the problems that they ran into could have easily been fixed if somebody would have shot somebody else. Like Palpatine's hooked up to a life support machine.
Shoot him.
Shoot him. the little dish that they have to blow up at one point in time in the movie. Shoot it. Why do you need to go down to ground level? Like,
Because they wanted to have that awesome set piece as
We're
wont to do. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
We're
though.
gonna get there. So anyway, we're going down into the secret Sith base in Extra Gold that looks like the secret Sith base from Rebels, including with the lightning effect. So we go down into the base, and the first thing we come across, outside of just how generally creepy the Sith temple is a storage area
a vat.
of vats of Snoke. So while you have just visually told me that Snoke is irrelevant, thank you very much, and that Snoke is a disposable minion for Palpatine, you know what the actual problem is? Why is there more than one Snoke? You could only use him once.
Yeah, why would you need multiple Snokes?
Not to defend this movie, I will, but just from a different standpoint. They could be failures. The one that we had could be the only one that could have possibly.
that's fine, but then why keep your garbage?
I don't disagree.
Purge the vets. Let there be a big dump of defective. There could have been a mountain of dead Snokes. Now that there's no use for them anymore. Why are they still in vets?
It was just a show.
Yeah, no, it was again set pieces. This movie is nothing but set pieces.
MTV Cribs.
I know you did.
And so we sit there. So we go past that, and then we meet Palpatine. And let me tell you something really cool about Palpatine. Palpatine looks cool. Fight me. Palpatine, looks
Palpatine
really
looks
freaking cool. He's blind.
Even
his fingers have decayed off.
zombie Emperor looks cool.
He has this really cool black makeup around his eyes and lips, and he's hooded, and he's literally being carried by this crane system like a freaking like a Cenobite is what he reminds me of.
Yeah.
I'm a big Hellraiser fan. And so I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right, man, that's really cool. So what I need you to do in the next 2 minutes before this gets ruined, because I'm riding the high of, man, you look really freaking sick, is tell me that you're a clone.
Nope.
Tell me
wrongo.
Tell me that you're a clone that Palpatine's essence is inhabiting, and that body is failing, and that's why you look like a zombie, because you did not survive falling into the Death Star's core. Your body,
blew up.
yeah, your body is not physically there. I'm sorry, that isn't how any of this works. Tell me right now that this is a clone, and none of your clones can sustain you. So this corpse that you're riding around in that's the reason why you look this way. But can I get that explanation? I would actually prefer that for the one time in this movie they dump exposition down my throat. This was the time for him to say this clone body is failing me. It would have solved all of my issues
with Palpatine.
with Palpatine's existence in this state.
You know, I've seen JJ do a lot of other films, and not all of them have been great, but dear God, did he screw this up. Like, he didn't do great on the second Star Trek movie, but he didn't do this level of bad. Like, this had to been some pressure from, like, Disney.
But again, as we said, though, he was himself was trying to fix the problems that
It was too heavy of a burden.
Yeah, the Last Jedi had. And honestly, I think this would have, granted, The Last Jedi was a terrible movie. I think it would have been better if he had just, stuck with that story and continued going with what they were going with that.
Yeah, I think that would have been the overall better route.
Yes, okay. It was much better to just plunge the entire thing off the cliff rather than try to pull it back up. But regardless, hindsight's 2020.
Right.
Anywho, we get through this first introductory scene, and Palpatine says, "I've been the voices that have been inside of your head," which makes perfect sense because from the very beginning, Kylo has been talking to Vader.
Yes.
Vader as an entity, we all know, no longer exists.
Yeah, it's Anakin as a Force Ghost now.
And Vader's helmet is not like going back to like old, not even actual canon, but just reaching into the EU, like a Mandalore's helmet or a Sith Lord's helmet from Knights of the Old Republic, where it holds this dark essence that allows it to influence and corrupt you. Vader is free of that.
Yeah.
So his burnt wreckage of a helmet should have never done anything for Kylo. It
because
actually makes sense.
he became a Jedi again at the end.
Yes, and he became a Force Ghost, completely light side. Only light side users get to become Force Ghosts.
It's their plus side.
We're gonna get to that in just a second. but anywho, so our new revived Emperor Palpatine says, "All of this belongs to me, including your first order. So you're already my subordinate. But hold up. If you do me this one favor, I'll make you even better than before. I'll give you like Oprah Winfrey, 100,000 free.
We know it's like always a deal with the devil type thing with him.
Yeah, but here's 100,000 free Star Destroyers free. All right, cool. Check that off the top of the list. Fully staffed. By humans.
Planet killing.
By humans. Wait,
Yeah.
we're not in there. That's the bonus part. By humans.
Yeah.
Where are these people? Who are these people?
Well,
Why?
they even talk about that at the First Order base. They're like, I guess we're gonna have to start getting some more
Recruit-
kids.
Yeah, no, but no, it's okay. We're good. We're staffed.
Yeah.
But let's go back here for just more second, and then we're like, all right, cool. Then the bonus part, the TD resistance is that we have Death Star weaponry miniaturized into the form of that Armageddon cannon that was at the other underside of the Juggernaut
Yep.
from the Last Jedi.
the eighth
Yeah,
one.
right. It's about the appropriate size as that, except each and every one of these can just wipe Alderaan off the map. So we have 100,000 ships that can destroy 100,000 planets.
Mm-hmm.
Repeat this infinitely because there's really no stopping us at this point. So the stakes have went from Nazis in space
Yes.
to the apocalypse of the entire galaxy. The Yuzong Vong look like children
Yep.
with sticks in comparison to what Palpatine's rolling in here.
And it
then you-
hasn't even been that much time of a gap from when Luke took down the Empire.
40 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
40
The-
It
years
was
is enough.
35 years from Force Awakens. When the battle
Yeah,
at
so
Endor
so
to
one
Force
would assume
Awakens.
it's been 40 years at this point.
Yeah.
Right. So we sit here and we're like, all right, cool. 100,000 Star Destroyers. Yeah. Super Star Destroyers, not normal Star Destroyers.
No.
Super Star Destroyers with Death Star weaponry. And then we sit there and we're like, all right, cool. If we haven't blown your mind just yet, let me tell you something really cool here. I'm going to redub your entire thing. Okay, cool. Because you're not going to be Supreme Leader. You're going to be Emperor. And the First Order is now the final order because, I mean, obviously there doesn't need to be anything said after this. And the only thing you have to
and
do.
also because this is going to be the final movie, so we got to kind of hit that at home again.
Right.
Execute final order.
So the only thing you have to do to walk away with all of these wonderful prizes is kill the scavenger.
All
Yeah.
right. Now we cut to the Millennium Falcon. That
Immediately jump
doesn't
up.
have the
You know the-
scavenger on it, by the way.
The thing that kills me the most is that for all that talking that they did, we don't even know why Rey was a threat to him.
Oh no, we get it later in the movie. Yeah.
Well, she's his.
Well, no,
she's
no,
not.
hold
It's
on,
a lie.
hold on. Remember, it's not. Granted, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but remember, it's not that he actually wanted him to kill her. He wanted him to bring her to the Emperor.
Because he knew that he actually loved and cared about Rey, so that wouldn't ever be what would happen.
Look, he has Kylo pinned. He knows from the very moment he gives anything to Kylo, Kylo's immediate thought process becomes go and get best girl, come back here, murder you, take over, rule together.
right.
That has always been what Kylo was going to do. Palpatine already knew it because Vader, Anakin was like putty, and then like Kylo's pre-built Legos.
Yeah,
All right, that boy ain't playing anything.
he knows the Skywalkers like the back of his hand. I mean, he understands how the Skywalker men are. That's why they're so easy to manipulate.
We're gonna get to that. By
I
the
mean,
way.
besides Luke, obviously, who was a different
Well,
story.
We're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it.
But anyways, we cut to the Millennium Falcon on this
spy
ice-
run.
Oh, that's
so
I just thought about something. Did you know how Snoke was the one that tricked Kylo into betraying like the Jedi Temple and all that? That was really the Emperor
Yeah.
But anyways,
all over again.
we cut to the Millennium Falcon with Poe, Finn, R2D2, and Chewbacca on board, and they're about to what are
Meet
they?
up with the spy to
Yeah.
transfer data.
Right. They're
Yeah.
about to meet up with a spy to transfer data on the First Order, which is now the Last Order. And then they have like as soon as they get the data, they leave and they have a pretty cool like, fight scene or flight scene with them trying to escape the TIE fighters. And then they start light speed jumping
Oh,
or hopping.
But you haven't missed the important part is that in this 3-minute scene, there are giant chunks of exposition
Oh, yes,
that
yes.
can't be avoided. Let me tell you what they are. Inside the First Order, there's a spy.
Yep.
What? So there's somebody betraying the Nazis, and it's not Lando Calrissian style. It's like there is someone in here that just hates them and has been giving us all this crucial information. Let's go tell you guys, the rebels, everything about Palpatine and what Kylo Ren has done. So in just those 3 minutes, we have every piece of information that the villains have currently been running on told to the heroes. Stuff that would normally involve some
Well,
amount of actual.
We didn't find that out yet. Remember, it's all on information
That's stored in R2D2.
Yes.
Yeah.
But regardless, we're getting it all here, including a verbal tale that there is a spy within the First Order.
I know we're gonna get to the spy at one point in time, but I just had this thought, so I had to like throw it out there. How was he even close enough to the top brass to even?
because
He's second
remember,
in command.
Remember in the second movie,
He's second in
he became
command.
second in command.
Yeah,
right under Kylo.
because
Ren.
they killed some of the other people.
They
Remember
killed
that?
a lot. Remember,
Yeah.
he was the only one left after that maneuver that Dane hates.
Yeah, the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
dough
Well,
maneuver.
Let's go back and actually just carry it across the three movies real quick. When Snoke was in charge in the first movie, him and Kylo are in equal but separate positions. They're like having two presidents.
Yeah.
One is specifically over the army. That's why you saw him giving the speech to all the new Nazis. And then one specifically over the dark side as far as the First Order is concerned. They're equal parties, both underneath Snoke.
Right.
Then you get to The Last Jedi, where he gets absolutely embarrassed for losing the Juggernaut and demoted all the way down. And then everyone that's on the supremacy that's above him dies in The Last Jedi. So he goes right back up into Supreme Leader Kylo's council. So that's where he gets to be in this
But he
position.
feels like he should be the one in charge, not Kylo.
But he obviously can't do anything against the guy with the giant red glowing stick. So he's resentful. We're going to get to his motivations and exactly how retarded Hux is
And
later on.
Yeah, he was dumb.
But anyway, so yeah, they're immediately, by the way, the moment they get done making the transaction, so there's no downtime, no time to chat, no time to say, let's just get out of here. TIE fighters appear, because that's something that you're going to understand really quickly is that the moment the exposition gets done, the action has to start. There is no break in there. There's no transfer, no time for anything else to occur here besides witty banter while we're being fired at,
Yep.
which is what you're going to get throughout the entire movie.
Personally,
Nothing
that's all my
breathes.
favorite parts. I love witty banter.
So they, of course, escape because the Millennium Falcon is both one, indestructible, truly indestructible, and two, Poe is the best pilot in the galaxy, which I guess has already been confirmed. So whatever.
Well, no,
Well, it's
actually,
not that he's
no,
the best.
remember,
It's just
they
the
s-
fastest.
They well, not even that. They say that literally as soon as he starts light speed hopping, Finn says, "You're not supposed to do this. Only Rey can do this." Rey, like he literally says Rey's the one that's supposed to be doing this.
Well, yeah, that's
She
because.
also owns the Millennial Falcon.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, is because the compressor for the Millennium Falcon has been removed this entire time, despite this time skip, and without it, you can't do something this risky in hyper.
Yes, but anyways,
Okay, so let's go back to and just explain something really simple to the people who maybe not be hearing the minutia for what Star Wars
What,
is.
my dogs, yeah.
Oh, Dane is so angry.
Your hyperdrive exists for you to take your dumb ass from a planet to a hyperlane. Okay,
Can't keep doing that.
Go from a planet to a hyperlane. Take the hyperlane through this route, which we call runs. You may have heard them before. You know, Carillion run. You know,
guess
Yeah.
I'll run.
yeah, right. So you take these lanes from point A to point B. These freaking retards are hopping between planets and nebulas, and I'm like, you're just hyperdriving into raw space. You know what you should have done? You should have crashed like
should have
Holdo
died.
and died. It's not safe. It's not intelligent. It's ridiculous.
It shouldn't have worked.
In the first movie, they say, you know, it's too dangerous to jump out of hyperdrive right underneath this planet's atmosphere. The first thing when they're going
Yep.
into Star Killer bases,
Yep.
you know, because and what happens? They pop out right in front of a forest. And if they were 10 inches forward, they would be dead.
This movie was a summer blockbuster film set in the Star Wars universe.
And that was okay. So when they jump and they go through the wall, I immediately when they go through the ice wall, I was like, wait,
Holdo maneuver? Holdo maneuver.
yeah.
Holdo maneuver.
I
We're
was
gonna
like,
get there.
shouldn't that ship be like in 1,000 tiny little pieces right now?
Well, because apparently you hit hyper before, obviously.
He busted through that ice wall, actually. He didn't even use hyper.
Yeah. He crashes because the Millennium Falcon's indestructible. He crashes through, then hypers.
Well,
and then,
it has plot armor. That's the better way to put it.
Pretty much.
oh, it loses chunks of itself,
Like,
but it's indestructible.
It's still dusting ice off when it goes hyper. It comes through the wall.
and
There's,
then immediately
there's chunks rolling off of
and
it,
then
and it
you have
hits
to
hyperspeed.
give all the credit to the TIE fighter pilots with the biggest balls in the galaxy, because they immediately blind jump after, and they do not have a hyperspace tracker as from the second movie, so you can't tell where he stops. He hits the jump and you don't know when he hits stop. So they should have flown far past him. They literally track him so well that they had to obviously have taken freaking technology from the freaking supremacy and put it in every individual TIE fighter for that scene to make sense. Because they're on his tail every jump. And there's no preset procedure for this. So you can't say that you can only hyperlane skip or...
Obviously, they could do it too.
Tim, how long did I say this was going to be?
It's gonna be a long one.
You just can't. Like nowhere in Star Wars canon has there ever been...
Well, I
all
said
right,
they broke just about every rule possible with The Last Jedi in this movie
Yeah.
anyways.
I just say there's no rules. Okay, so it's not that it's like, okay, in order to do this skipping thing,
They
you can only go
disrespected
into...
George Lucas. I mean, he built like this whole set of rules in the galaxy that is Star Wars.
Yeah, and so whatever, they get away.
And they wonder why he hates their films. Because they basically took a dump all over his legacy.
I would have never have appeared at that premiere. I
I
don't care.
keep thinking about that Freddie Prinze Jr. video every time I go back and I rewatch a new Star Wars movie. For those of you that haven't seen it, go look it up on YouTube. Freddie Prinze Jr. loses
He
his
did
shit.
the voice of one of the characters for Star Wars Rebels. If you don't know who Freddie Prinze Jr. is, he was much more famous during the 90s and early 2000s. He was in a lot of romantic comedies, and he was in the live-action Scooby-Doo movies. He was also in I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yep. But I think he voiced Kanan and
Yeah, he did.
in Rebels.
Yeah.
And you get a chance, go
I
find
didn't
that
know
video.
Yeah, he was the Jedi Master.
That's what's up.
Nice.
Yep.
Ah.
Anyway,
He's a big Star Wars nerd.
so they escape because, nothing's difficult. But anyway, we're going to keep going.
Cut to the rebel base.
Yeah, where Rey's been training.
She looks like the Avatar, literally like sitting.
You mean
cross-legged.
Korra?
Yeah, well, I mean any
Or
of
whatever her
these.
name is.
She's in Avatar state because she has the dual bands of rocks floating around her.
That's why someone said, really, this trilogy is live-action Legend of Korra.
She's getting ready for that Acne Kai.
Matt's face right now.
Say it ain't true.
Because
Say
it
ain't true.
shits on the original so well.
So regardless, so she's sitting there and she's just like, reach out, connect to the previous generations, reach out, connect to the previous generations, get in contact with all the past Jedi, because obviously this is a setup for what eventually will be happening here, which should have been, if you want to follow any type of actual canon, something that was started in the second movie and finished in the third, but we have to start it in Act 1 and finish in what is basically Act 3.3 at the end of this movie. But yeah, so that's what she's trying to do. Obviously, she fails because you can't hit it on the first try. We got to make sure that she doesn't look like a Mary Sue this time. But hold up 1 second. We're about to give her a character flaw. Let's stop doing all of this, spiritual training. Let's go and hit the physical. So she has to hit the track. She has to hit the course. She goes out there and she's just like, all right, well,
Hold on. This is when we finally start seeing Princess Leia and all the awkwardness that is her character being in the movie.
you mean the fortune cookie?
Yeah.
The fortune cookie with Leia's face? Because everything Leia says is a taper tick fortune cookie.
Because all they did was just take clips from outtakes from the first episode 7.
And we want to see the most leading conversation either. Because obviously she can only reply with what they have. So Daisy Ridley has to come up to her and be like, exposition, fortune cookie.
But literally,
Exposition,
like they had to make
exposition.
the actors come up with a way, their
Believable way.
a believable dialogue right before Leia answers.
With this ticker tape
But
response.
it's so obvious, and it's such a absolute disrespect. A disrespect to Carrie Fisher and the legacy of Princess Leia. They should be ashamed. Disney should be ashamed. So should JJ after he tried to hype up how he was basically honoring her. He was not honoring her, and she would be giving them a big old middle finger if they could see her. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
No, you're totally
share it,
justified.
heal it. Because I am here. I am at 11 and burning.
Every one of her scenes felt like a mannequin, which is obvious because they
Yeah.
were talking to a mannequin. But even like more so than that, they should have started the movie with. I feel like they should have started with her death. I feel like that would have been like a really, like maybe not at the very beginning of the movie, but at some point in time.
Well, we're only 10 minutes in.
I mean, I know.
Where else could it go?
I mean, I feel like they should have started with her having died, and that gives
Well, he
everybody a
skipped all
chance to
kinds
come
of
up.
other information, or it was a big time jump.
Yeah.
They could have easily just said,
What,
in the,
Leia died in the title crawl?
yeah.
Yeah, but that would have pissed people
I mean,
off.
not like that. They could have done like
Where
like
else
a
can
some-
you fit it?
In my
They could have done-
in my opinion, for that, it actually it would have made Poe's transition to being a leader a bit more
Believable?
understandable. Yeah,
Yeah.
believable
Yeah.
and understandable. I actually would have preferred that.
Yeah,
Don't
like
get
if
me
she would have
started
died early
making-
on,
how he
like,
made Finn a general with him.
That was his boyfriend.
Yeah, but no,
though.
okay, hold on.
I mean, I get that.
Finn being a general is fine. Like Finn's
No.
been,
Yeah, but it's just like
Yes.
you're gonna be a general because I
No.
need you.
why?
With what training? With what authority? He's just a failed stormtrooper.
All
He has
right.
been running
Wait.
around following a white girl for the last.
Wait, but he's super force sensitive though.
Well, they're-
Now,
now
I'm
in this third
also-
movie,
I'm also of the opinion that they did the same thing to fucking Han Solo. Like Han Solo was just a dude, and they were like, "Now you're a fucking general. Here
Yeah.
you go."
you're a hero now.
Yeah. Oh, can we like random thought? Can we talk about how Chewie finally got his fucking medal? Can
Yeah.
we talk about that?
Yeah, they
Slow clap.
disrespected Chewie throughout this
got
whole
it.
entire film.
look, yeah, he didn't get it in the movie, but he got his medal. It's just like we all knew Chewie
It took
got
them
his medal.
30 years to give this man his fucking medal.
Well, it
on
wasn't even the
film.
original actor. Okay, I mean, the guy who used to play him is obviously Peter Mayhew, great guy, but he is too unhealthy. You know, he's too old now to play that role. It's really hot.
In
you know,
the
that fur.
giant,
Yeah, fursuit. So it's a younger guy. So like the emotional depth that it would have been for the original actor would have been so much more.
Well,
But I'm actually glad that he wasn't able to play this last movie because they absolutely disrespected Chewie throughout the film.
don't even get me started on C-3PO.
Oh, they
Okay.
dunked. They dunked on C-3PO.
All right, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's get back on track.
Billy D. Williams was a pleasant little thing.
Yeah,
though.
Billy D.
Well-
Williams was like the one thing that was okay from the
How-
original trilogy in that entire film.
How is it that of all our original heroes, the only one that gets to be heroic is freaking Lando Calrissian,
He's
the literal traitor?
Yeah, he's literally unscathed and has the best moments out of all the original trilogy characters in this movie.
He betrayed us. Oh, Cloud. What? Why?
Yeah,
Just-
but in Return of the Jedi,
I know he comes back and he's a hero. But my
No.
point being is that the one person who has a blemish in their backstory outside of Han.
Well, you know why? It was because they knew they screwed up with all the other original trilogy characters, and they really probably weren't planning on using him. And then they're like, "Crap, we pissed off all the Star Wars fans. Who do we have left on our list?" And
to
would
just
be
give a clean run.
Yeah.
He has no flaws. He is a perfectly great character. He is everything you would want any of the others to be.
okay. But one complaint. Okay, little off. We'll get to this point, but he's basically at this festival of life thing,
Makes
and I
no
don't
sense
see
for
my
him to
boy
be there.
partying. I don't see my boy being Lando.
Leia sent him.
Yeah, Leia sent him. He said
Still,
Leia
though,
sent him.
Yeah, Leia sent him, but
It-
he's still
oh,
there, and
it's a
he
call-
ain't being Lando.
It's a callback to what happened in the Return of the Jedi, where he was
When he
wearing
was
the
dressed
mask
up like
and
a
he's-
bounty
yeah.
hunter. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
it's
Still,
that's what it
though.
was. It was a callback.
I know, but I
He
mean,
was there as a
Lando. I
spy
would.
not to throw a freaking giant Burning Man, which is what that planet was. Planet Burning Man. We're gonna get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Every 42 years.
Oh,
3 hours
Which is really
later.
funny
But-
because 42.
Yeah, I think we've spent at least 30 minutes on this so
on the
far.
first 10 minutes of the movie, we have
Yeah.
a 2 hour and 30-minute movie to go. We're gonna have to skip something, but my rage won't let me. So
It's gonna be a special, people. It'll be probably cut into 2 parts.
3 if Dane keeps going like he's going.
I want to stop, but
we
I
need
can't.
to let him.
We have to let him get it out.
Yeah, if not, Dane's gonna probably be like depressed throughout the
He
holidays.
might kill me later if he doesn't.
I just need to. All right. So regardless. All right. So she goes on this freaking obstacle course, and the first thing she does is turn on her lightsaber. We learn right quick, right? All right. So let's be honest here. You're carrying around a plasma torch that can cut through anything. It's
She
literally.
almost killed BB-8.
It's Excalibur functionally.
she
She's just
dropped
running
a tree on BB-8.
right
Poor
because
BB-8.
because when you're going through an obstacle course with a plasma torch in your right hand, I must inform you that you probably are going to hurt everything around you, including the native wildlife. Some Jedi you turned out to be. Turn off your lightsaber. Please. Anywho. So yes, she goes, she puts on the fancy helmet, does the training like Luke does, where she gets beamed by the little training droid that has the tase blaster. Because
Yeah.
it can't actually hurt you. It's just meant to tell you that you suck at what you're doing.
Yeah,
Thank
he
you, man.
tases her a few times.
Because obviously she can't win a lightsaber fight, right? Because she's never done that before. She's not fought full on Sith Lords or, whatever else, including the trained Imperial Guard for Snoke. But no. She has no experience. This training droid's gonna hit her 7 times.
This is where I saw some inconsistency in the movie because, like, at this point, we see her get tagged by this little droid like 12 times.
Yeah, and she's supposed
like pissed off.
yeah.
So throughout the movie, she's getting shot at. And she's dodging these blasts.
Oh,
The
like
Force.
it's no
You
one's
know,
business.
actually,
Force.
if I'm being honest, you know what that felt like? That felt like an entire scene that was just supposed to be in the first of these 3 movies.
Oh yeah, right. Back
Yeah,
in
it's
her
supposed to be in the first
original
one,
training.
yeah.
Oh yeah, like that makes perfect sense because that's where your hero's journey starts. But we're gonna.
She didn't get real training in the first movie though, because it was Han Solo
Did she
that
get
she was
real-
with.
Did she get real training in the second movie too?
Not
See,
really.
Did she get real training in the second movie
And-
too?
Not really.
The whole
Like a damn
consistency
chicken
issue.
right
also-
now.
He looks like he's
I'm
like trying to
so-
start a cockfight with me.
Angry Rooster Dane.
I'm so fucking angry.
in with her consistency as far as fighting and everything goes. One of the things that upset me a lot about the last movie is when her and Kylo were fighting Snoke's personal guard, and she's going toe to toe.
No training. I know how to use
all
a
of
staff.
them.
This wooden stick perfectly translates to the
She's been
laser I have in my
swinging
hand.
a lightsaber at a fucking rock for like 15 minutes.
Training, Tim.
I will say this. You know what I always wanted from her specifically. I wanted her to make her own lightsaber, which spoiler, she does. But what I wanted it to be, so you like her entire thing of like the first movie and some of the second movie is she's really good with a staff. That's what
So
she's
why
good with.
doesn't she have Dark Maul double
Or
saber?
no, well, no, not even that. Like literally makes a saber that's out of like makes a saber that's shaped like a staff. Literally makes a saber that has,
I don't even think
a
she
sh-
wants a saber in this movie.
Well, that's well, she made one.
You know what's funny? Because like her evil self later on in the movie.
Yeah, no, it has the
It has the awesome
dumbest-
lightsaber.
No.
It looks
no,
awesome.
No, it is Kylo Ren's stupidity taken to a new level. Don't you dare call that folding lightsaber cool. Tim, I will go get a chair.
I was like,
Look,
what?
man, we are not a wrestling show.
How big does her
Not
hand
yet.
have to be? Because she's holding 2 sabers side by side.
Dude, she's strong.
I'm saying your hand has to be huge to do that.
I mean,
Why would you need a hilt that long? You know what the problem with those lightsabers are in general?
she's like those people with the gigantic folding phones.
You
Oh my
can't
God.
you can't block using the center of that weapon. The hilt of your lightsaber can't survive another
Look,
lightsaber.
it will be just like the Samsung Galaxy Fold. It'll snap in half.
And what? She'll start dual wielding?
I
Because that's
guess.
how that works. Tim, I just need to.
There was a lot of inconsistencies
I wanted
with
to ask.
her.
There was a-
fighting.
sleeping through this,
Like
but
when
now
when
I
she
see
had
she's not.
the one-on-one with Ren, and she's fighting right, and so she just
My wife's
awkwardly
just taking a
changes
nap
how
over
she's
there.
wielding her lightsaber, and she's doing like the reverse blade thing.
That
And that's
Kylo
not
does.
working either.
That, no,
She's
because she
like,
can't.
"Oh, I
Because she
can't do it this way
We're,
either."
No.
we're gonna get there. We're gonna get
All right,
there.
all right.
She's an absolute novice, and she's an angry novice because they gave her.
She's
an
not a
act-
Jedi like ever in the film. Like she shows her Sith like ness
And see,
the entire
Barely a
time.
Padawan.
That's why I was saying earlier that like I was hoping they would bring a close to both the Jedi and the Sith. I don't think she ever should have. I don't think there was
She was never truly a Jedi.
no, not at any point in
Never
time was
truly
she
a
ever
Padawan
truly.
either.
I think that like she should have been like, "Hey, Luke, thanks."
Yep.
But no thanks. Like,
I'm done with this.
Listen, we've been over this consecutively across multiple movies. You cannot train a Jedi at her age.
She was even older than freaking Anakin was.
She's older than anyone. She's older than Luke.
Well,
She's older than Luke.
she was
She
pretty,
is.
they were pretty
She
close
is.
in age.
Luke was a teenager.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
older
that's
than
true.
Luke.
He was like 16, and what was she like in her 20s?
Like Luke was like
Easily.
14, 15, dude. Luke
No,
was.
he was like 16
He was like 16, 17.
because he could drive his speeder.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you know,
Regardless, she's
that's
older.
just us assuming that would be the
Yes,
same.
she started much older, but
Regardless, the golden rule established in the prequels.
Train them while they're young.
Because you have to be able to cut off your emotions in order to be a Jedi,
Right.
which she obviously cannot. So she has the core flaw.
You essentially have to brainwash them just like the stormtroopers.
No, not really. It's not.
Yeah,
It's,
it's
not
kind
that.
of-
It's not that grievous.
I mean,
Yeah.
they
Let's
brainwash them a little bit.
yeah, it is. I mean, sure, yes, you can call the Jedi a cult, but yeah, regardless, it's for their own good. Because this is the problem that you have when you don't get training at the age of 3 in how to use your Force powers. You get a character flaw, which is this is the first one she ever gets, by the way. So hands applause, right? We went through what 7 hours of runtime, 2 hours and 30 minutes a piece across 2 movies, and she gets her very first freaking character flaw here. It's wrath. She gets angry. She gets angry. That is her issue. Yeah, she gets angry.
Oh, she's a Palpatine. What do you know?
Like that's a flaw that Palpatine has.
I
Again,
hate that so
spoilers.
much. Every time I hear Palpatine, Ray Palpatine, I'm just gonna be fucking
Well,
boiling.
don't even get me started at the end of the movie. I
No.
was about to chunk my soda at the screen.
I guess that's where they got the title from. Like that was the rise right there.
Well, there was other points that would have been the rise too.
I'm just saying, step
No, it
parents are
literally
real
tell her
parents
to
too,
rise.
guys.
The thousand generations tell her quite literally when she's laying on
Well,
the
it's
ground.
also
defeated.
when spoiler alert when Kylo dies and he ascends to become.
That's
a
also
Force ghost.
bullshit.
He's a solo anyway. More importantly,
True, but everybody keeps calling him a Skywalker.
It's because he has Leia's blood in him.
yes.
Yeah.
So
Leia
yeah.
dies too, and she becomes Force ghost. Spoiler.
Anyway.
Man, Tim just back to back like that.
I
know,
mean,
right?
people know this is a spoiler
Tim's just
review.
like,
That's why I said it at the very beginning.
I was just like, can we go in chronological order? But no, obviously we can't. More importantly,
No, anyways.
so
My bad. I mean,
Dane, we all
geez,
have
if they're
things that
watching
we're
this
thinking
review, they
about.
probably already watched the movie. That's all I'm saying.
can I spew fire? That's all I want to do. I just want to rage. Anyway,
I thought you'd
continue,
been
Dane.
spewing fire.
cool. But anyway, so she tries to do her training. She fails because she rages out and almost kills the droid.
Or
But-
BB-8.
Yeah, right. Because he just gets jumped on by a tree, and she's like, "Oh my God, no."
And she is not really worried about that droid.
She doesn't actually care.
Yeah, and Poe's like
Which
legitimately concerned about BB-8.
which let me just put it to you in this particular way because it matters a lot to me. The special thing about Luke and Anakin is they treated droids like people.
They try to point that out with her in this movie a
No,
little bit.
No, well,
she dropped the tree.
with the cone,
They had to tell her.
with the cone on wheels.
They had to tell her to do
one
it.
of Leia's fortune cookie,
Yeah,
which by the
Droids will
way-
surprise you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
underestimate
underestimate droids.
which immediately gets paid off. By the way,
Yeah.
immediately. Literally,
BB-8 does a thing, and it's,
Dude, I'm so sick of this witty cut to the camera. Like, I hated that.
That's Marvel.
I hate it
They
so
added
much.
they, like
Yeah, but, like-
Dane has been saying they were making Star Wars into Marvel.
I mean,
Well,
yeah, but
that's
like
Disney
MCU
now.
handled it
It's
so
their
much
overall
better.
thing now.
yeah,
They don't really do that with their like live action movies.
they're gonna start. They're gonna start.
I'ma
Anyway,
see
it's
it.
all torture. Listen, so we get done with this training montage of absolute crap, and then obviously Leia, of course, comes in and is just like, "We need to complete your training." She's just like, "I need to go complete this mission because I don't care if you give me approval or not. I'm about to move out here and get this done. So I'm gonna go and leave. I'm still a Padawan. I'm basically back where Luke was, getting my butt beat by the training droid. But I'm gonna go fight Vader because that's where I feel like I'm at right now. I'm that hype.
I am the hype.
Don't get me wrong. It was. I'm skipping more. I'm sorry, Dane. But like
Yeah.
the more like when I think of stuff, I just gotta.
Gotta let it out.
I
man.
gotta let it
we
out.
all process in different ways. I'm very technical. You can free flow. Go ahead.
But like, as cool as it is to see that Leia had some Jedi training and stuff like that to kind of like connect with her connection to the Force. At no point in time in the in the original trilogy.
They hint at it in Return of the Jedi.
See, I don't remember that.
Yeah, because she could sense when Luke was in trouble.
Or you can point towards Yoda when Yoda says
Well-
there is another.
Yeah, well, when they're done with when they're with the Ewoks, she
Yeah.
briefly talks to Luke and she talks about like
Well,
Getting
specifically,
Yeah.
going by my memory of having recently watched them, the second movie, The Empire Strikes Back,
the best.
she senses that Luke's in trouble, which is the immediate first sign that she at
Force
least has some
sensitivity.
force
Yeah.
sensitivity.
Just like they were doing
Then-
with Finn with this one.
In the third movie, when Luke is on Dagobah, immediately after Yoda dies, Obi-Wan tells him that Leia is your sister, and she's force sensitive.
Okay, so here's my thing though. At no point in time do we see her have any inkling of wanting to be a Jedi.
No, you are correct. There's
Yeah,
not
the-
a point where
Because your assumption is it's after Return of the Jedi.
yes,
That she asks us for training, which
well,
is whatever the Disney canon wants it to be. That's literally what it is.
I mean, I got you, but I always thought of her as like, he's the run and gun, go fight him with a lightsaber, and she was always
and she's
politics.
an Organa.
She's,
an
yeah,
actual
she was
diplomat.
always like her strength was politics.
There's been
Yes.
plenty of EU books though that have made her a Jedi.
Well, it's fine. It's just what Matt's saying is, by his recollection, there was no meaning for it to happen. There was no hint at it happening.
Force Awakens never really gave you a reason, an inkling that she had that training, because they talked plenty about Luke's Jedi Academy and stuff.
Yeah, but
and
like,
then
freaking
freaking Leia being Jesus for a minute.
And see-
Oh,
she
that's
gets
in
non-
Last Jedi.
That's
though.
another
I know.
thing.
That's what I'm. That's
It's like with Luke running and doing the whole Jedi thing, and the Knights of Ren all being like ex Jedi Padawans.
Yep.
And we got no payoff on
oh
that.
no, not at all.
Like Kylo Ren's force pushing and like
The entire time that the Knights of Ren are walking around, they are just set pieces until the
They
very
look like,
end.
just like they
That
were
was
just like your
upsetting.
regular
Dude,
everyday barbarians.
when they're
was
sitting there on that
upsetting.
planet and they're like they're doing the whole thing with C-3PO. Why did the Knights of Ren, who've been following this entire time, not kick the fucking door in
They never
and
did
like
anything
handle business?
until the very end of the movie.
Oh,
The
They-
only reason why they
no,
were in the
wait.
movie was because everybody was complaining about how they mentioned
mentioned and never got to do
anything. Yeah,
they still didn't do anything.
No.
they existed.
They cut their one awesome scene where they 6v1 Chewbacca. Because they did. That's how Chewbacca got caught.
Chewbacca.
I know, right? That's how Chewbacca got caught. Is they 6v1 them in the desert. He goes off looking for Rey.
Yeah.
And they have him captured. There's supposed to be a scene in between there, but
They don't give us one.
it's not there.
They got cheated in that Kylo scene too.
Yeah, because they're all like like Padawan trainees. Like there should have been way more going on. If you're gonna have a film full of Jedi flips, it should have been then. Right?
Yeah,
Every-
they should have had
no, no.
lightsabers or something, or
What-
like,
what-
I mean, because
They
they
should
obviously
have
don't
gotten
care
a-
about the rules. They should have had like a battle axe with a lightsaber, kyber crystal in it, and all kinds of
Someone-
crazy stuff.
No, they
Poking
should have gotten
weapons.
They should have gotten a throne room fight of their own, and what instead they got was Kylo pulling a magic trick and killing them.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh, don't even get me
that
started on the new force
somersault
power.
thing that happened that he did. What the hell was that?
Oh, we're gonna get there.
Well,
but I would
apparently,
like to get there in
one of the
chronological order.
requirements to be a force user is you have to be like Olympics level gymnast.
All right, let's get back on track so Dane can continue his ranting.
Sorry, Dane.
No,
Sorry.
it's okay. So yeah, Rey has to go on this mission because obviously she's
To figure out how to get to the Sith planet.
right, and she has her friends and Tolongs and all these other people who are on this burning Millennium Falcon. By the way, when it
Yeah,
gets done,
apparently they repaired it in 5 seconds.
and then it takes off because there's no such thing as time in this movie. But we've been over this.
Yeah.
Consistency.
Finn, Poe, C-3PO,
BB-8.
Chewbacca, and BB-8 all go together on
Goes-
this journey.
We leave the most useful droid behind.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
why did
really.
they leave
R2D2,
R2D2
they
behind?
did my boy wrong.
I
Don't worry
can't
about
believe
it.
they left him behind.
He gets to become a co-pilot at the very end.
Instead of
Or
BB-8
R2.
for some reason.
Yeah,
Because BB-8 was always Poe's
I
person.
co-pilot.
Yeah.
I didn't get one R2 scream. This
I hate
entire
how
movie.
they wrote Rose out of that little quest by just saying that.
Oh yeah, I gotta
The
study
general-
these Star Destroyers.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what?
Dude,
They did Rose wrong.
that poor
well-
girl had to go to therapy
Well,
after the last movie.
oh yeah,
no,
people
no.
were
It's
bullying
like they
that
just
poor
wiped
girl.
that whole thing from her mind. And
No,
she's
no, but
somebody else in this movie.
let's go back here. Yes, true, but let's go back here for just a moment.
People should never
There's a-
bully the actors for the roles that they play. They're not the ones that write the
Yeah,
scripts.
well, across all the Star Wars movies, we've learned that. But
Yeah,
let-
but
let's-
people still do it.
I know, right? Because people are jerks. But let's go back here. There's a Mon Calamar
Oh,
in
um,
in the
The Millennial Falcon that everybody forgets that's there.
no,
Yeah.
no, not the alien thing. Akbar's race. There's a member of Akbar's race in the
Oh yeah,
resistance
very
leaders.
briefly.
yeah, they don't tell you that, but that's his son. That's
That's-
Akbar's son.
Okay, okay.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty funny. actually.
Yeah, I know, right? I run a Star
It's a
Wars
trap.
campaign. We're gonna get to this at the very end, regardless. Akbar's kid.
Oh wait,
You
hold
wanna
on,
tell
hold
me-
on. So like when he found out that was his kid, he had to have said it's a trap.
No, he probably just.
Tim, get the fuck out.
You're an insult. Now, anyway,
I'm just saying if it was in the movie, that's the direction JJ would have took it.
Don't make me.
He would have made it a Robot Chicken Star Wars episode.
Tim,
Don't make
Tim.
me transfer my anger to you, Tim. So listen. Regardless,
This is why they love me.
Mon Calamari,
We do love
Akbar's
you.
race, they're expert shipmen, both as not necessarily pilots, but pilots, navigators, commanders, and ship builders. And so you want to tell me that of all the people we're gonna get to study the design of the Super
Wasn't she-
Star Destroyer, it's going to be Rose Tico, who's an engineer.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's an engineer.
But we have a literal race whose primary export is ship design, who is the son of the greatest admirable. Admirable. He is admirable. Greatest admiral in the Resistance fleet.
Resistance.
What are we doing here, guys? Why is she sitting here doing this when literally Akbar's son should be?
We know why, because JJ again just like threw The Last Jedi under the bus. Granted, The Last Jedi is terrible, but you can't just ignore it.
It's okay.
It
Dave.
exists.
It's okay, Dave. We're gonna give Admiral Akbar's son the real treatment he deserves.
Yes,
We are.
We're gonna get to that later. This is revolving around my Star Wars Saga Edition campaign. But anywho, as we continue on, we sit here because we need to go find another one of these 6 Sith holocrons / wayfinders,
Whatever it is,
because it looks like a holocron, but
it's
it's a wayfinder. Regardless, we need to find another one. There's only 2. So where is it?
Why is there 2?
Well, who cares? But just who cares? It's MacGuffin.
I know. I'm
You
just
can have
saying.
as many MacGuffins as you like, Tim. Right? As many MacGuffins as you like.
Well, apparently in this movie you can.
I also didn't understand the point of them saying 2. It could have just been like, there's a wayfinder out there for us to go find. They didn't have to give us a number.
specifically to, well, no,
I'm willing to bet you
matters. It matters because one MacGuffin gets destroyed, so we think we're out of MacGuffins, and we forget that in Kylo's ship is a copy of that MacGuffin, which you use with the other MacGuffin
See,
to discover the
which
last
is
but
a
MacGuffin.
total waste
but
of
the-
time with C-3PO.
But the thing, as far as
Yes.
dialogue, to me, like, it makes no sense because, like, you've already shown one MacGuffin. You could be like, okay, there's another one of these MacGuffins out there, not necessarily a number,
A set number like we know previously ahead
Yeah.
of time. Well, remember
but
that,
like you could use the storytelling and dialogue to do all of what you needed to do,
but no,
without giving me that extra, like.
but they can't because they didn't write dialogue. They wrote exposition, Matt. And exposition says, read the script. There's only 2.
In again, not to defend a terrible movie, but in defense, you could say that you could say that the reason there were only 2 is the fact that there was one for Darth Sidious, which he kept literally in his throne room on the Death Star, and there's one for Vader that he, if that planet was Mustafar, he kept it on that planet.
Vader's castle.
You know
Yes.
what kills me is that Palpatine's been in the background this entire time and didn't think to go clean up his fucking trash.
Oh, an indoor? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right. We don't got time for that.
He
We
was
gotta
like,
stay here.
Yeah, there's this other thing that might be able to locate where I'm hiding out right now.
Yeah, that could help. But he
I
wanted
can-
her to find him, so
I
there's
can
that.
literally
If we go
put
back to that.
a secret Nazi organization right under the New Republic's nose, but I don't got time to go visit Endor.